there's nothing I can do about your selfish attitude towards me. So I'm not going to let it get the best of me. Throughout life, I've noticed that I've always been put in a great situation. Whether it be the house that I lived in, growing up across the street, right across from a project. I don't know if any of you know or are familiar with the projects, but in inner city living, there are these community houses called projects that were developed in the 20th century by rich people, developers, people who invested in housing. They said, we're going to build a community where people are going to live together in congested spaces. Yes, very monotone colors. Everything's gonna look the same. They're gonna have their own facility of activity facilities like swings, basketball courts, sprinklers. They're gonna have some parking there. Houses are gonna be set up where there'll be 2-bedroom houses, and these are apartments, my bad. 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, 1-bedroom apartments, and we're gonna make these project homes available to lower income and below income families. So we're gonna set these projects up right in financially challenging areas. And the economics of these areas will be so bad that, you know, it'll be set up near fast food restaurants. It'll be set up near poor sanitation, near littering. It'll be set up in areas where it gets like cars get congested a lot. All of this, these blueprints were intentional. They set up these neighborhoods intentionally, whether it be the projects in the inner city, or whether it be you know, the gated community that you think you're a part of or placed in. All of these places are intentionally built. And so the projects, where a lot of lower class, lower income people come from, people that are on public assistance, even majority, 88% majority of them in my day, with me growing up, 2010, you know, 2005 to 2010 to even today's present day, in the Bronx of New York, I lived across the street from one of these neighborhoods. So naturally, as a kid, my friendships, the things I did was in these type of neighborhoods, dealing with these residents in these projects. So I had a lot of friends coming from challenging, like financially challenging, relational challenge, like every challenge coming from these challenging homes. These are the friends that I grew around, right? And these are the friends that I had. And I was always the kid across the street in the 3-story house. It was a 3-family house that my dad owned, and he rented out to other people. Rented out to 3 other families, and we were the 4th family, right? And so I was always the kid who had the big front yard, and so because of that, we would have nice parties, and we have like these blow up. It would be like these blow up jumping castles, or these cotton candy machines right outside, or the barbecue, the grill right outside. Tons of people coming by, enjoying themselves, having fun, like family shit. And we always did this, and I like to say we were a light in the community where people were able to see this and want that for themselves, to the point where it became envy and jealousy, that type of energy that we would receive from other people right across the street. Like these people in the projects, and the projects where I grew up around, there was high crime, because everyone's so clammed together, congested. There's dirty there's little to no sanitation. Yeah, they had cleaners coming in, but the buildings stink of pee and shit and spit all over the windows, because I would go into these places and visit my friends. Some of the time. A lot of the time they were coming to my place to play flag football or run around outside the house, or roll around in the grass. So my house was like the hub for all of these people. And I always loved that as a kid. But I never really understood like the classes of things. And I think that's the innocence of childhood, where I wasn't able to understand a lot of the classism going on. The parents of these kids that would come over, yeah, they would feel some way. Their kid going over to the rich guy's house, right? Meanwhile, my family was living not check to check, but I mean damn near. You still gotta pay bills for this house. You still gotta pay the light bill. My dad would collect rent. That would go right back into paying for the house, or an emergency fund in case a stove broke in one of the family's house, and now you gotta replace the stove, or a fridge instantly, ASAP, because these are families. You had to have like 10 racks just in an emergency fund, just in case something fucked up and you needed to replace it ASAP. Because you can't have a family in the middle of winter without a stove. You can't have them in the middle of winter without heat, right? Or without water in the summer. No electricity. What kind of a landlord would my dad have been if he would have let some foolishness like that happen? So he had to have extra money on hand. Now, to give you guys more than just a background story, what I'm trying to say here is that these days I'm going back because I spent time, hearing the concerns of others and me being ahead somehow. I think it's the mindset that was imparted in me and that I was indoctrinated with, to always be a leader, to always like have a lot, whether it be me driving at 16 because my dad was able to rent cars for me and I was able to drive. So I was driving not just myself, but my friends. My friends were cool about that. Shit, we were all 16. Being driven to a party is like magic. It's like taking a ride with Cinderella on prom night, at the ball. So it was gold. And that's just one example. The other example, the house. Another example of me always being the black guy on these white teams. I was playing baseball. Majority of the baseball players were either from my minority group, the Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, a few black people, or I was playing with Caucasian, Italian people. Some of the most fascinating people are Italians. Some of the most intelligent, group of people are from Europe. I was playing with these people and had the opportunity to learn about their culture and what they did, how they lived, and how their parents treated them and cheered them on from the sidelines and just being there. My group of minority, fellow minority baseballers, a lot of our parents weren't there in the stands because they were working another job, or they were sick, faced with diabetes and high blood pressure, stuck at home because they were so sick. But we didn't have that kind of support, so we kind of had to support each other. And a lot of my fellow baseball players would look to me for the leadership because I was able to get along when I went to the other teams. I was able to get along with the Europeans. I was able to be around them more. Sorry, just some guy just backing out his driveway, not even looking. He's just, let me back out of my driveway and not look back. Let me just close eyes. Whatever. So I tried to lead. I really did as a kid, and I tried to take the concerns and really understand like what my fellow kin were going through, because I have a heart. No matter what situation I grew up in, I have a heart. I told you, I grew up across the street from the projects. So I was able to observe the toxicity in families and the dysfunction in a lot of family structures, to the point where that type of energy came right across the street into my house. Oh yeah, big house and all, nice front yard, 2-car garage, but my parents were throwing shit at each other, not just things, but words at each other, violently, and I was there. I was in the house, the only child. I didn't have a brother to talk to about the shit I was going through and so that we could understand it together. Right? I was just going through this shit. 8, 9, 10 years old. Mom throwing her heels. Mom not coming home from wherever she was. Dad flirting with any and every female. I was literally, and my mom being mad that he was doing that, or my dad just being bitter and drinking, being an alcoholic every day, and in denial at that, because I would tell him, like, you're drinking every day. I was 10, 12 years old, knowing, like, okay, you're drinking every day. I don't think that's good for you, and I'd tell him, and but a man is he's going to decide his own fate. So I can't take that away from him, because he was responsible as fuck in his life as a man. One of the most caring, honest man of integrity, that was able to teach me how to be a man. Yeah, he had his vices. We all have our vices, and he could have been more disciplined, but that's life. Yeah, I don't blame him for it. I don't blame him for any of the mistakes that I feel he made. I was just a child who was scared of losing a parent, because I learned that detriments and vices and bad habits can destroy a person. And I learned that as a kid, and so I would just spitfire my feelings. I didn't say I feel like this or I feel sad because you're doing that. I was just telling him, like, you're doing that, it's bad, you're doing this. As a kid, and my dad appreciated it in a way, because I was being honest and I was understanding what transparency was, and to be able to communicate, especially being a shy child growing up, at the age of 2 to 6. There are still signs you can see if a child is shy or not. 2 to probably 8, I was so shy. It wasn't until 10 when I was around people more. 11, 12 when I was around other kids. I wasn't just the only child in the house, So he appreciated that I was communicating, these things. But then there are times he didn't, because it got annoying, obviously. Imagine a little kid, no matter what age, you're going to have a little kid in front of you telling you what you should and should not be doing when you're a grown man who's lived 70 plus years, in this world. Like, you feel like you know enough, right? But, wow. Not only was I able to not to go off, but it's kind of the same. My dad, manager of a gas company, Con Edison in New York City. Everyone knows what Con Edison is. Everyone knows they have to pay their Con Ed bill for them to have electricity, right? In New York City. I don't know about all the other companies around the country, but my dad was the manager at this gas company, because Con Ed also dealt with electric and gas. So he was the manager at the gas company. And I say that a lot, and I say that proudly, because he came from South America to run shit. It took a while. It took 30 years in the company, but he ran shit. And that's inspiring for me. That's what I aspire to. I aspire to run shit, So, wow. The amount of diversity that I was exposed to is insane. And so I would get it from my own people, because they knew, he's going to Catholic school. He's going to private school. He dresses with uniform every day, with tie every day, and he's playing baseball. This guy got money. And then when I would go with the people that had money, now I would get it from them, because they would look at me like, who do you think you are, just because you're the lucky one out of your entire group, to have money? Who do you think you are? So I always felt like I was just not the outcast, but the middle. I always felt like I was in the middle. And no one's really grateful for the middleman, right? Who's grateful for the middleman, really? He's just the middleman. The guy that's offloading the product or service from one side to the other. That's literally all the middleman is doing. The middleman's not really like this, high, almighty guy that you look up to and praise. He's just doing his job. I was the middleman in information, is what I was. The lifestyle, the language. I would be with my group of people across the street in the projects. We'd be talking like, what's good? What's good, my nigga? And then I would go to play baseball and be like, yeah, had a great game today. You did very well, Johnny. I'm proud of you, man. And there would be changing language, lifestyle, clothing, dressing. I told you I was wearing khakis and tie and vest every day to private school. So I was the middle boy, really, because I was just a boy dealing with all of this shit, and really caught up in my feelings about the fact. It's like, damn, why I gotta get it from this guy, and then I gotta get it from this guy when I come home? It's like, shit. To the point where it made me feel like, I'm not gonna say outcast, but the middle guy. Right? The middle guy is not always the best feeling. Now these days, I feel like the middle guy sometimes, a lot of the time, but I stay where I naturally fit, in the high quality side of life. Whereas these days I'm playing baseball. These days I'm making music. These days I'm making YouTubes. These days I have great relationship with my mom. And let's use that example, right? A great relationship with my mom is gold for a lot of individuals who don't have that, who don't have a mom to look up to because their mom was addicted on crack, or their mom was selling themselves out and had no time for their children. So the state took their child away. So having a relationship with my mom is gold right now. I never had a relationship with her when I was younger. I couldn't have said that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but I could say that now. So a high quality relationship like that, I boast about. And there are some envious people. And what do? Do you give in to the envy and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to be bad to my mom. Let's just use this example, the relationship with my mom, because you can use the example with being more fashionable or being richer. I didn't want to say richer, but that's usually, that's mainly the big one, being richer, right? Or coming from a high class neighborhood. Let's take that away and let's just say a high quality relationship that someone else doesn't have. And so because I have a high quality relationship, someone else might look at that and envy, like, damn, why is his mom always there for him? Why is his mom always, sending him money? He doesn't even need it. He has his own job. He has his own life. Why is his mom still opening her house to him whenever he wants? Because there are some moms that are just like, if you're under 18, get the fuck out of my house and don't ever come back. Come back for Thanksgiving and Christmas, okay, or come back to bring me some money, but they don't want the kid coming back in the house. And my mom is like total opposite, where it's just like, stay as long as you like. She wants me to stay until I'm 30, 35. And I'm just like, no, I gotta get out. No, I gotta be a man. No, I gotta go out there, But people look at that and they're just like, wow, why do they look so pretty? How do they have so great of genes? They look so amazing. Simple, foolish, stupid shit like that. That I just like, that it blows my mind. For them to think that I would throw away or become more toxic in a relationship with my mom just so they can be happy and feel like I relate to them or understand them. Get out of here. It's the same as me chasing my dream in baseball. And you're working a 9 to 5. I'm chasing my dream. One of my dreams. Because, baseball is just like, being an athlete is not like you're free. You're not free. But, you have the freedom to do what you like. To do something that motivates you in life, right? And then from there, you start to, okay, how can I get actual freedom from not just free mind, but free mind and peace at that, where I don't have a contract and I don't have like someone, an agent and a manager telling me what to do and what not to, That's when you get deeper. But even me just chasing this pipeline of a dream, it makes people jealous. How does he get to travel the world? And I'm here at my 9 to 5. They told me after college to go straight to my 9 to 5. To go straight into my career. Then work for this individual, make this corporation richer, and work my way up a ladder where there's a cap, where I can't pass that cap. You can't pass the cap. Because you're not the boss. You can get all the degrees, all the qualifications and certificates, but they won't let you crash that cap. And just to get to that cap, you got to do it like my dad did. He worked three times 10 years, 30 years to become a manager in a gas company. It's 30 years of his life. And that's probably why God was like, let me give you another 40. You'll live till 74. Thank God God is so generous. It's like, this just took so much out of you. It took too much out of you. You know, no wonder why he had to self-medicate, drink wine every night. You know, not to bash him in any way. Still a wonderful man that sacrificed so that I could be 26 saying, I'm chasing my dream for baseball. Something I really love. But you think if he didn't be the manager, if he didn't fully lay down his life in a company to acquire a pension, to acquire a six-figure income, you think if he didn't do that, you think I'd be where I am today? Probably not. I'd probably be the one chasing after the 9 to 5. So thank God for the situation. Thank God for how things played out. That's why I would never go throughout life saying, nobody gave me nothing. Nobody did nothing for me. I got this for myself. What type of nonsense? What makes you think that? What makes you think you gave yourself the grades in school? What makes you think you gave yourself the opportunity you have now? There's still a person who has to say yes or no, who has to approve of you. There's still a person who had to push you through your infancy, literally drag you to, like, this is why people like that really, like, it really frustrates me. Because they feel like they don't owe anyone anything. And it's just like, you're so wrong. And there are times where I feel that way. Because there are times where I'm in my bag and I'm just being petty. And I'm just, no one did anything for me. Oh, I did this for myself. Oh, really? Really? That means you're taking in all of this YouTube influence and advice that you're getting. You're taking all that in because you was talking to yourself about it. How did you not get yourself out of that situation? How did you not get yourself out of that drug habit? How'd you get yourself out of that drug habit? Please explain to me. You know, how did you not do it on your own is what I'm saying. If nobody owes you a thing. Yes, you are making decisions for yourself and you're putting your life on the line and there's a risk at that. But if that's what you're trying to say, be clear at that, motherfucker. Don't be going around saying nobody helped you. That makes no complete sense. Literally, that landlord of the house that you're living in doesn't have to. He didn't have to say, yes, I want these people. Like, what if you were that individual that everyone would look at you and just deny? Like, you would go to a place to find the house and they would be like, nope, you can't stay here. Or you would go to this job and they would just look at you and be like, thanks for wasting your hour and a half for interviewing, but nope, you won't work here. Or you would go try and get a car and they would say, nope, your credit's shitty. You won't be here. Or you would try apply for a credit card and they'd be like, nope, even though it's 700 and we don't even know how, because no one in your life has ever given you anything. Nope, you can't be here. Sorry. Like, what if you're that individual? I know I'm exaggerating, but what if you're that individual that everyone just denied? Then what are you going to say? You can't get anywhere. You need people. Like, anyways. And I've always, realized that. Always tried to realize that. Always appreciated, the sacrifices of others. I must say, though, now that I've stopped driving and could, have eye contact, I must say that if you feel like you're obligated to do something for others, you feel like you're responsible for others, just think again, right? This message might sound like a paradox, but it's really not. The answer is clear. You got to be selfish at times, but still be grateful, right? You got to be selfish to chase your dreams, but be grateful in the process of all the people helping you, all the opportunities that have been placed before you. But you've got to be selfish, because there comes a point where you're giving so much and you lose yourself. And now that becomes the ultimate selfish act. So you trying to be selfless and be there for others and support others and give for others really turns back in your face as selfishness. Right? It's a mental thing here. It turns back in your face as it's a mental stigma that we've been taught, that we're not supposed to be selfish, that we're supposed to be selfish. Sharing is caring. Yes. But if you're sharing yourself so much, you lose yourself. And the people who are supposed to be looking up to you, the people who are supposed to be coming to you for opportunities, they have nowhere to go because you're not there. You're someone else. You're someone else. You might be alive, but you're someone else. And so you can't give the job to this or that person, right? Because you're saying you're being selfless, but in giving so much, it's actually a selfish act. Because where you were supposed to fill the void in this world and towards society and contribute, you can't. You're no longer there. Like, am I making sense here? Be selfish. Because that's the most selfless thing you can do. Stop trying to be the savior for everybody. Stop trying to be everyone's savior. You could give a man a fish, and he's just going to ask you for another fish the next day. So some people, that's okay. That's all right. But wouldn't it be better if you taught the person how to fish so that they could fish for themselves and bring the fish in for themselves? I want to thank you guys for taking the time for listening. I know it's tough for a lot of people out there financially, especially around the holidays. But I want to take the time and just shout out those breadwinners. Shout out to you, and shout out to the dream chasers as well. Two sides to a similar coin. And I want to say that you guys are awesome. You guys are loved beyond measure, and people look up to you even though they won't say it. You affect people in so many positive ways, even if they won't give you the accolade and throw the roses in your lifetime. But just know you're doing something good. You're on the right path. And if you want to hear more shit like this, tap in. Don't tap out ever. Deuce.